All right, well, um, welcome to the Great Project. Uh, so, just kind of like starting off from the get-go. Um, I think that I kind of like the format I've created for myself. We have a rolling timer, you know, clock, so kind of know that things are happening. You're not just staring at a blank screen. Uh, there's going to be an agenda, which makes things pretty simple for the future because you'll always kind of know what to expect from from the chat, from the conversation, and you'll kind of. I think you'll really come to like this. To be honest, it's very simple. It's very well structured, at least in my opinion, and it really does respect your time. Um, Granted, I don't know how I'm going to make this actually work. In that I've never done this before. I've never done like try to make good stream content. Streaming's hard. Streaming's difficult. You have to like be on the ball about it, and I've just never really done that. So I'm a noob, I'm a rookie, and even getting to this point has taken a tremendous amount of effort. I think I've probably spent an hour just trying to get like a basic setup, getting the software going, trying to determine like what the format will look like and stuff like that. The main purpose of the Great Project and this stream in general is to start communicating my ideas into the larger public sphere without running the risk of never being heard. Uh, I don't really anticipate that this content is ever going to be truly like explicit, like not made for children. But I think that the topics and the concepts are really not like childlike. They're very adult in terms of the problems that we're going to have to look over and think about. Probably the easiest way of looking at the Great Project is it's really just like a class. Um, I guess like I got trained at one point to be a teacher, and I never really did anything with it. So this is kind of my way of doing that. And I think that 15 minutes is like a lot of content. It's like a tremendous amount of content. But I think you'll like it. At least I hope so. So, um, yeah, so today's May 5th, and this 15-minute little chat is just going to roll through. So, let's talk about the future. Let's talk about order of events. Let's talk about sequence, cause and effect. As a father, one of the things that is most astounding to me is children are, how poor children are at causal reasoning. That this precedes this and that, comes later, or this came before. They seem to have this permanent, ever forgetful nature. Kind of reminds me of the internet in some ways. That even though the internet never forgets, it seems like the internet never remembers either. And so, part of what the Great Project is meant to do is to exercise on the foresight that I have, or that I'd hope that I have for the future. We're going to go through some of the topics that I think are important for discussing the future. Um, so, what is foresight? Foresight is the ability to look forward. Now, I'd pull up the Merriam-Webster's dictionary and we can go look at it. But unfortunately, the dictionary has been tremendously changed over the years. And so the definitions of things are a little ski-wampus, so to speak. I wonder if I have a dictionary. I don't have a dictionary yet, so I'll grab that while we're um, talking about. I think it's called Noun Dictionary. Yeah, this will be helpful later. We'll talk about terms and stuff like that. If you haven't learned about the terminal shell, you probably will like to use it. So let's go ahead and move this here. And let's look at foresight. So foresight, I wonder if I can make that bigger. View. We'll probably look at that later. So it's the act or power of foreseeing or prescience, like having foreknowledge. It's an action in reference to the future, provident care, prudence, wise forethought. Uh, I think that when we get into deeper topics of this stream, we're going to discover the importance of having a dictionary and exercising foresight. So, the first topic we're really going to start getting into is called masculinity. Let's see if I can spell it. Masculinity. Okay, the state or being masculine. Masculineness. Okay, masculine. So, masculine, which has this Latin and French origins uh, of masamal, so of the male sex, not female, the masculine child, that is to say, thy sons, having the qualities of a man, suitable to or characteristics of a man, virile, right? Virile, not feminine or effeminate, strong, robust, okay? One of the things that I think is at stake for the future that I see and the future that I see for you, at least the viewers or the listeners, is that masculinity is been radically under attack from the whole world. And part of the reason for this is because the whole globe has a different take on what is masculine and what is masculinity, especially considering that since this definition of 1913, right? It's over 100 years ago. What it means to be a man, what masculine means, has entirely changed. So, for instance, I look up the word masculine, having the qualities or appearance traditionally associated with men or boys, right? Traditionally, they go so far as to make that difference. Okay, femininity. Can I spell this word? Femininity. Oh, that's a tricky word. The quality or nature of the female sex, womanliness, the female form. Oh, serve it under thy femininity. Chaucer, he's great. So let's go ahead and look at what is feminine, right? Having qualities or an appearance traditionally associated with women or girls. Tradition. The world on the internet is changing some of the ideas and thoughts that are rooted in our culture and in our society. And because of this, that they're making the differentiation between what is traditional and what is not, right? How do you describe women and girls if they're not feminine? How? How would you describe women and girls if they don't have this quality of what is feminine? Now, some people might listen to this and they might argue, well, people can be meh, 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 meh. Sure, of course they can. But that doesn't change the fact that women and girls have a feminine nature. Men and boys have a feminine nature, and tradition doesn't really have anything to do with that. You can go to almost any culture in the entire world, and they will tell you that boys will be boys and girls will be girls, and they do it from a very young age. Which brings us into childhood. Childhood is a really beautiful thing, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be a father. Um, I'm blessed by my children, and I'm cursed by my children because they are making me grow spiritually, whether I seem to like it or not sometimes. Well, that's funny. I shouldn't say whether I like it or not. I like to grow spiritually, physically, emotionally. It's just sometimes really frustrating when you have co competing demands in your life. So, childhood is the state of being a child, a time in which persons are children, the condition or time from infancy or puberty. I've walked before you from my childhood. Oh man, I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've had to assure my child, I've been a child, okay? I've been a child. And having been a child, see, the state of being a child, okay? Let's see if they've changed child. Oops. We'll go ahead and see this. What is a child? It's a son or a daughter, male or female descendant in the first degree, the immediate progeny of the human species, right? A young human being below the age of puberty or below the legal age of majority, right? No speaking of whether they are a son or a daughter. No mention of the gender quality, right? The generative principle, the gender principle. Yes, I understand that the internet has given rise to a audience of people, a minority audience of people who either electively or uh, inelectively are neither male or female, and they do not seem to participate in masculinity, femininity, that they themselves as children may not have ever felt like they were a son or a daughter, a boy or a girl, having masculine or feminine qualities. That's interesting. That's a fascinating take on human existence when we have a growing audience of individuals on the internet, primarily. You might even see them in your social scene. Primarily speaking, these individuals are growing in their ever growing influence online for the purpose of widening the gap between our understanding of what is masculine and feminine, or what it means to be a child. I hope you liked this kind of broadcast, looking at how the difference between words as they've changed over time. Specifically, looking at how when language changes, when the definitions of things change, our understanding of things changes. I'm not somebody who's so elitist or so persnickety to say that, you know, we can't have, we can't have new things, we can't have nice things. Uh, but I think it's important to look at how language and culture are commingling, and that yes, the definitions of things can grow, but when you were born and while you grow, you're going to participate in a culture, even if that culture is meant to be subversive to the current culture. That's going to come at a cost. It's going to come with some kind of difficulty. And this is just a subtle stream to start out with. I should have made the last little bit here the outro. So that's good. Making small leaps and bounds as we move forward. So um, I really do appreciate you taking the time to just kind of watch how I think and how we can take words and look at how things change and how those changes might be they have effects, is what I'm trying to say. They have an effect. For every cause, there's an effect. And when there is cause and effect, that means there's sequence. When we change the definitions of things, there is going to be an effect. There's going to be a sequence of events that will take place as a result of this cause, this change. So maybe you can look around and see what are some things that you've seen that have become the effect of these changing of definitions, so to speak. Um, so thank you for watching the first stream of the Great Project. And I really do look forward to another opportunity to share some time with you. And we'll meet again in the future.